gosh, I am seriously struggling to try to put together this video for you guys today. I can't get my act together. Anyway, welcome to Michelle Live and in Color. For those of you who've been following me for a little while, welcome back. For those of you new here, or if you just tuned in recently, glad to have you. Anyway, you may have noticed that recently I took a trip to the Bahamas, Nassau. And anyone who has ever done any kind of research on Nassau or Freeport in the Bahamas knows that they're not exactly considered two of the safest places to travel. Now, before finding that little bit of information out, I actually booked the entire trip from boarding my dog all the way down to, excursions that I was going to take in the Bahamas without checking the crime statistics. After I was completely done scheduling everything, something popped into my little brain and said, "Hey, Michelle, why don't you do a Google search on crime statistics in Nassau?" And much to my dismay, so much negative comes up about the place, and it's not exactly recommended as one of the safest places for a traveler to go, let alone a female solo traveler such as myself. So, needless to say, I went into sort of a panic mode, but then I was like, no, calm down. Let's do a little more research. And the more I searched and searched, the more negative I came up with about traveling to Nassau by myself. To the point where I almost canceled the entire trip and wasn't even going to go. I was scared, I was straight up scared. And I fortunately had about 3 weeks to think about it. I scheduled flight insurance. I bought flight insurance for my flight. So there was nothing that I couldn't cancel and not get all my money back. It was never that I was going to lose money. So, and even if I didn't get a full refund on my flight, I would still have been able to at least book again within the next 12 months with Delta Airlines. So, instead of, what it came down to was, instead of canceling the entire trip, I decided that I was going to figure out how to make this trip as safe for myself as possible, because you literally hear about tens of thousands of people go to the Bahamas every year. And I wouldn't even have known that it was considered a non-safe place to go. You don't hear that all over the news that Nassau isn't safe. It's only because I scheduled a trip there that I even looked into it that I came to this realization. It's not something that is just, common knowledge, like going to Tijuana or someplace like that, where everybody has heard stories about how bad it is there, and people just know that. So anyway, I decided to just go ahead and go. But I was going to figure out how to make it safe. Long story short, I went and I had a wonderful time. But let me just tell you a little bit on how I did it so that I didn't get my head knocked off. So first of all, what I did was I looked into having a transportation service pick me up at the airport, so that from the moment I landed, I wasn't looking around for some random cab driver to take me to my hotel. I read a lot about how the cabbies can be a little shady. They can try to overcharge you, and they will take advantage of you if you don't know any better. So to avoid that altogether, I went ahead and pre-scheduled a round trip to a travel service to take me round trip from the airport to the hotel, and then on the day I was supposed to leave, they would come pick me up at the hotel and take me back to the airport. Everything was already included. I already knew how much I was going to pay in advance. Tips were included and everything. Now, did I tip them a little more? Yeah, because they were so good and I was really impressed with them. But everything was included. I knew how much it was going to be ahead of time, and I wasn't dealing with just being out there at the mercy of, can I trust this cab driver or not? So that made me feel pretty good. And that worked out really well. And this particular travel service, the guy knew that I was a little uncomfortable about being a female solo traveler there. I was telling him all the horror stories that I had heard. And he even included a stop at a local grocery store, because by the time my flight landed, it was almost about 40 minutes to dark. The day was over. And so he stopped at a local grocery store, allowed me to get some water and some snacks and a little bit of food to hold me over to take back to the hotel, because he knew that I wouldn't have felt comfortable going out at night. I just got there, didn't know where I was going, whatever. And what was really nice about that is that wasn't originally included in the booking. And after I wrote my review on how appreciative I was of that, he actually included that as part of the service. He updated on TripAdvisor that was part of the service now. A 15-minute stop at a local grocery or liquor store, and they would allow you to stop there for 15 minutes, grab some stuff to take back, and which I thought was awesome. So yeah, they were great. So I was never out by myself. And when I got there, the guy wasn't there. I was looking all around. I was all ready to video someone holding a sign with my name on it to pick me up, and I always wanted that, and so I had that, and the guy wasn't there. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? But not to worry. There are these people at the airport that are right there willing to help you get transportation if you need it. And when I said, they're like, well, what's the name of the transportation service and whatever. And when I showed them what the name was, they all know each other. So these guys were kind enough to call them on the cell phone and say, hey, you on your way? And they were able to find out where, so they were very helpful. I was a little leery, like, what are you guys trying to, be shady or whatever, because I had all the horror stories. But no, these people were so helpful and so wonderful, and they called them for me because I did not get an international SIM card. And I was able to, they were able to contact him. And what it was he figured he had a few extra minutes and that I would be stopping over at baggage claim first. So he wasn't right there immediately. But I felt like, hey, if my flight is supposed to be here at this time, then you should have been there 15, 20 minutes before. But if that was the worst of what happened, then, it was okay. He got me where I needed to go, and the service, I had no complaints about them whatsoever. Then the next day, I had booked an excursion. Rather than walk around the city, which is very walkable, rather than walk around and take a wrong turn and get into trouble that way, I had booked a shore excursion with a tour company that would pick me up, again, at the hotel lobby. Take me to, all these wonderful, touristy areas that everyone would like to visit, like, the Queen's Staircase, Finn Castle, the Watling's Distillery, just all these wonderful places. A lot of the places people said, like the Queen's Staircase. I wanted to see the Queen's Staircase. It's beautiful online, and I was like, if it looks so pretty, and I want to see it and hear about the story of it and all that. And people online were saying, don't go. It's too close to this area called Over the Hill. And Over the Hill is considered a very dangerous area with gang activity. And, you know, I was like, well, that's crazy. Well, how can I go and not have to worry about all of that? So I booked a tour, a shore tour excursion. And I was taken around to all these places safely. I was able to get out, spend time, have photos taken, shoot video, get back into the tour van, and we'd move on to the next place. It was great. Highly recommend. Again, I could put links in the description box below of these places that I'm talking about, the travel companies I use. But I honestly, if it wasn't for them, I may not have gone to these locations, but I'm so glad that I was able to, because it was worth it. Yeah, I had a wonderful time. The day after that, I booked another excursion. This one was, you know, a boat. Had to get on a boat. One of the pickup places was the Margaritaville Resort Hotel. Fortunately for me, the hotel I stayed in was only a 3-minute walk down the street. I had to cross the street, and it was 3 minutes down, if that. It was a little difficult crossing the street, a lot of traffic on Bay Street, but I was able to get there. Once again, a lot of really helpful people. When I got there, I was actually early, and the people, the concierge outside the hotel, I said, oh, I'm waiting for a pickup for a shore excursion, blah, blah, blah. They knew, once again, they all know each other, called and said, hey, and the guy's like, yeah, I'm about 15 minutes out, and I was like, yeah, well, you know, I'm early anyway, so it was not a big deal. And so, sure enough, they came in a van, picked me up, get in the tour van, I'm escorted off to the location, the dock where we would take off in a boat. Went off to Rose Island on the shore excursion to go swim with the pigs, which was another really wonderful. I didn't go to Exuma because I heard a lot of bad stories about that. Like, if you got back problems, the boat ride's a nightmare, etc., etc. But oh my gosh, went to Rose Island, had a wonderful time. The interaction with the pigs, served us lunch. We got to hang out for a while and just enjoy the day. The ocean was beautiful. The weather was perfect. Came back from that. The drop-off was supposed to be back at the Margaritaville Resort, but I mentioned to the driver that my hotel was actually a different hotel, and he was nice enough to drop me back off at the lobby of my hotel. Now, I will say this. The tour van was a little bit... My hotel... The lobby entrance was in the back. It was really weird because the front is like a friggin' freeway of vehicles driving back and forth. Bay Street is crazy. So anyway, rather than try to drive this big ass van, tour van, to the back, he dropped me off right at the end of the street, and I had maybe a 100-foot walk. In the time that tour van dropped me off, and I got out and was quickly walking, and that tour van took off that quick. Some guy was on my trail going, hey, did you just arrive here today? Did you just get here just now? And I said, no. And he's like, I want to be your friend. What the hell? What? I said, no thanks. And I took off running, like literally took off running. I was maybe 50 feet from the door of the hotel, and I just ran because I was like, I don't know what the hell this guy has in mind. Is he going to try and rob me, assault me, whatever? But that was the only weird incident that I had the entire time I was there. Other than that, it was awesome. And I don't even know what that did, but it was just weird. Like, what grown ass man asks a grown ass woman, "Hey, did you just get here? I want to be your friend." What the hell? Yeah, next. So anyway, I ran into the hotel lobby, and I just went to my room, and I was just there for the rest of the evening because it was already in the afternoon anyway, and I didn't have anything else planned. Um, and then the day after that, my next adventure was, now that I've been able to see the city, now that I've gone on an excursion to another island and swam with the pigs, I wanted to spend a little more time just kind of safely walking around the areas that I was now a little more familiar with. And fortunately for me, my hotel was directly across the street from Junkanoo and Esplanade beaches, which is really all the same beach because it's a small beach. And a lot of people complained about that too, but I thought it was an absolutely beautiful little beach area. It was so cute. Now, I will say that the shore tour took us to Cabbage Beach, and we did go over to Paradise Island, and we got to see all that, and those beaches, were nicer. But there was nothing wrong with Junkanoo Beach. Junkanoo Beach is cute. It's just a little beach. And I had an amazing lunch over there, which was absolutely delicious fish sandwich and fries. If you watch my video after this, you'll see I had a wonderful time. I walked around, shot video, took some more pictures. The view from my hotel was amazing. I loved it. A lot of people complained about the hotel I stayed in, but it was fine. I had a perfectly fine room. If you stay on any hotel along that Bay Street area, you're going to have a certain level of noise, but I was on vacation and I was just enjoying every moment of it, and it didn't really bother me because by 10:30, 11 at night, it got quiet anyway. And so by the time you were really ready to go to sleep, it would get quiet, and I never felt like I wasn't getting any sleep. So, and then the next day, my hotel served free breakfast, amazing breakfasts. The hotel staff was wonderful. Again, like I said, I never went out at night, but then there wasn't really a reason to go out at night. I don't drink anyway. I don't go to bars and clubs anyway, and there really isn't much of a nightlife to speak of there on that level. So unless you wanted to go to a late dinner, or nothing really stayed open that late to begin with. So unless you wanted to go to a super late dinner or hang out in a bar until it closed at, I don't know what time the bars close, you could always just get the alcohol and hang out at the hotel by the pool and, the jacuzzi, and just enjoy your time there. There was really no reason for me, especially as a single female solo traveler, to go out at night. There was nothing going on at night. Just a lot of people driving around 1,000 miles an hour and making a lot of noise up until, say, midnight, and then we get super quiet and it was dead. So, yeah, I loved it. I would definitely go back again. I had a wonderful time. The ocean was beautiful. The sand was beautiful. I honestly can't say enough good about Nassau. I loved it. It was just such a beautiful experience. I'm so glad that I went. I'm so glad that I didn't let all of the internet chatter scare me out of not going. I will say this, as a solo traveler, or more specifically, I would say as a Black female solo traveler, I did feel like I attracted a little more attention to myself because I was a Black female solo traveler from the men there. It's a predominantly, African nation, people of African descent, so they seem to be, a little more aware of me being by myself. But everybody was super nice, super kind, super helpful. I never felt like scared outside of the weirdo that approached me asking me to be his friend. I never felt like, you know, that there was my safety was in jeopardy, and that, I loved it. I went everywhere I wanted to go, everywhere I needed to go. I got some souvenirs. It was great. So, my advice to any woman who is thinking about traveling solo to the Bahamas, specifically Nassau, Freeport, which is supposedly the most dangerous areas, is just don't do anything stupid. Keep your head on a swivel, pay attention, and for example, I bought this jacket. It was too warm to actually wear this jacket. And this jacket is a little pricey, but this is called a Scotty vest jacket, and it's got the pockets on the inside. It's supposed to have 19 pockets on the inside. It helps you to keep from getting pickpocketed, but I've only been able to find 17 pockets on this thing. Call me crazy, but I don't think there are 19 pockets in here. Anyway, plenty of pockets on the inside for all your, money, all of your, your identification, passport, driver's license, whatever, can stay hidden inside, and you don't even need to advertise the fact that you're carrying anything. I carried my jacket around most of the time. I had all my stuff with me, and this is a great little windbreaker. It was $149 on Amazon. Before the pandemic, these were selling for $80. So, yeah. But I was so nervous to be carrying a purse that I bought this Scotty vest jacket just for the security of, I could be carrying a jacket or wearing a jacket and all my stuff was on the inside and nobody could just bump up to me, steal my money or try to rob me or anything like that. And it wasn't obvious that I didn't look like a moving target, was the point. Also, what I found on Amazon was, and I recommend, this is a one of these RFID type of fanny packs to wear around your waist under a shirt. Your money, your ID, no one can see that you're, openly carrying anything. It make you a little less of a target again. Again, I got this on Amazon. This is called an Alpha Keeper. I thought this was a really good idea. And then, another thing I bought just in case I needed it but didn't actually end up using was this is another RFID type carrier. This you just wear around your neck. And again, it could be under your shirt and it's not so obvious that you're carrying money, ID, and all that in case somebody tries to approach you in a unkind, I'm about to rob you way. What else was, I carried this. This is my little bag. It's just over the shoulder, to the side. And I carried it under a shirt. And I just carried my camera and my little mini tripod in here with me when I went places because, and I put them in a plastic bag, just to keep them safe when I was on the boat, just so it wouldn't get wet, just in case, And I found that good because, in case somebody tried to grab something from me, they would have a heck of a time getting it from me. It was under my shirt. Let's see. Yeah, other than that, the trick is, I think, schedule a lot of excursions. And if you can, get them to pick you up at the hotel and bring you back to the hotel. That's your safest bet. Do a tour, a shore tour, and let someone else who knows the area, is born and raised there, take you around to all these places, and you can spend time there. They even added stops in that weren't on the itinerary, just so that we could see more things, just depending on how they felt, and which was awesome. I had an amazing time, You know, there was ample time spent at every location. I didn't feel rushed. We were able to stop at places and sample foods and different things. Oh, it was great. So unless you are careless and uncareful and milling around at night and going down back streets and back roads and, you know, looking for trouble, basically, I think you'll be fine. I guess ultimately, if you can go with someone, do it. But if I wouldn't say that you need to be afraid to solo travel as a female to Nassau. Just be really careful about what you book. If you book an Airbnb that's not in the thick of it all, like my hotel was in the thick of everything. It was in the dead center of all of the hustle and bustle and all that big touristy area. For me, that was safest. If anything went down, somebody was, was going to be around me. I was surrounded by people. If you book an Airbnb that's off somewhere, I wouldn't recommend just walking somewhere or walking around in the dark, or just don't do anything that could get you into trouble, and you'll be fine. You can walk around inside the other hotel resorts. I went over to Paradise Island, like I said, and walked around in Atlantis. I didn't stay there, but I got to experience Atlantis, the casino, everything. I say, if you're not afraid to solo travel, then, and as long as you're careful, you shouldn't have a problem going to Nassau on your own. Clearly, I made it back in one piece. I never felt afraid. I enjoyed it. And, yeah. I say, go for it. And have a wonderful time. I think you'll be glad you did. Anyway, that's all I came on here to say. And, see you on the next one. Hey, I'm done. So go book your trip to Nassau.